湖のある静かな町で起きた些細な事件。それはよくある子供同士の喧嘩に見えた。
何にも誤解してないんですよ。この先生に叩かれて息子は怪我したんです。
まあこういうのって母子家庭にありがちっていうか、まあうちもシングルマザー
堀先生、児童のせいにしたら親御さんの怒りに火がつくでしょ。
実際どうだったかはどうでもいいんだよ。
豚の脳なんだよね。湊の脳は豚の脳って入れ替われてんだよ。
いつも麦野くんを叩いたりしてます。
なんだよそれ。
お話を伺いたいんですけれどもよろしいでしょうか。全焼だった。
化け物ですよ。
怪物誰だ。
頭に豚の脳が入ってるのはあんたの方でしょ。私が話してるのは人間？
怪物。
Good morning, Director. I'm Hirokazu. This is a pleasure for me to be talking with you this morning. So this is going to be an interview for my podcast and my YouTube channel, Carolyn Talks. It's a podcast and YouTube channel where I speak to film creatives around the world about their work industry and what inspires them.
で、今日はこの方は Carolyn Talks というコンピューターで、ウェブサイトを持ってまして、その中で、いろんな世界各国の監督と映画関係の人とのインタビューを見せています。
Okay, so my first question for you is everyone always asks directors what their muses is, but I want to ask you what emotion is your muse, because a lot of your films rely heavily on talk about loss, love, childhood trauma, abuse, as well as found family. But what particular emotion inspires you as a creator, especially coming from directing documentaries to directing feature films?
でそういったドキュメンタリーとかフィーチャーフィルムじゃなかったわけですけど、最初の頃は。で普通ミューズっていうと人なんですけど、今回は感情、どの感情が監督にとって一番なんていうんですか、ミューズの役割を果たすか。
映画の中でどの感情が一番中心にあるか。
In a sense, it's which feeling is the main feeling.
For all of your films, because there's so many different emotions, but if there's one emotion that you rely on the most or that inspires you the most.
だからもちろん監督の映画の中にいろんな感情が描写されるわけですけど、その中でもこれっていう感情が一番自分が頼りにするっていうか。
まあ、脚本プロットを読んで一緒に脚本家の方と脚本を作りながら、もちろんいろんなものが大事なんだけど、一番大事なのは音楽室で奏でられる2人の音だと思った。ホルンとトロンボーン、その音が、それまで言葉にできなかったことを音として表現しているし、音によって少年が動き出す、音が人を救う、それが言葉ではないことがとても面白いなと思ってました。なので音楽室へ向かって進んでいく物語として作るということを考えています。
So in this particular movie, in creating the plot, I wanted something unspoken that would really sort of propel the plot, be the main theme to it. And to me, it's the moment in the film where you have the two sounds, the trombone and the trumpet. And those sounds, as they share that moment, drives the protagonist forward and it sort of frees him up in a way.
Right. You mentioned, I was going to ask you about that, about the trumpet and the French horn, because that scene is it's like cacophony. It's a lot of noise. And it feels, like as you said, it's about driving the characters forward. But for me, the emotion that I felt in that moment was anxiety. And it was anxiety of worrying about if these young boys, especially Meguru, if he would be able to find the freedom that he wanted, because this whole film is about assumptions. I think the monster in this film is assumption. People assuming what they know. So there was a lot of anxiety for me in that particular scene. So that was the emotion that I felt for the majority of the film.
And この映画の中にやっぱりそのアンザイティという心配神経質になる部分を感じたんですけど、特にそのシーンの中でトランペットとフレンチホーンがちぐはぐな音を出してるところに、そこに2人の持ってた不安みたいなものが出てくるように思ったんですね。特に麦野が自分のアイデンティティのことで、それに対していろんな不安を抱えてたわけで、だから不安アンザイティっていう不安になるんでしょうかね。心配っていうか。
でもそれを超えていくものなんじゃないの？ありのままの自分を肯定するものとしてそれでいいのだという自分を肯定させるものだったんじゃないの？音自体は。
But I think the sounds itself actually go beyond the anxiety, and they say no, you are okay the way you are. That they actually justify who they are.
For me, Meguru and Hoshiwaka, they have a love for each other, and there's a scene where Meguru, he says he likes someone, inferring Hoshiwaka to the teacher, but he says he's not supposed to like the person. And I know for a lot of people, they might read it as him meaning, for instance, he might be discovering his sexuality and finding a romantic relationship with Hoshiwaka, but I saw it as him admitting that he likes someone that the other kids tell him that he's not supposed to like, because the other kids are bullying Hoshiwaka. So for me, it was him finding, as you said with the horns, finding acceptance with himself and being able to say, I like this person that everyone tells me I'm not supposed to like. I like this person that everyone looks down on. And there's a freedom in that. There's a freedom in being able to be friends with who you want to be friends with, but being able to be around the people you want to be around, especially for someone who everyone shuns. Like Hoshiwaka is shunned by his father, by the teachers, and by the students.
ですから麦野はそこでこうあるべきだということを自分で確かに分かるようになるわけで、自分がなんていうんですか、自己確定というか、星川さんのことを好きだと、でみんなが彼のことを見下すわけですけど、それでも自分は本当に、友達としてももしかしてそういった他の形でも、好きだということで、麦野さんの自分の肯定ができるわけですね。自分自身を肯定することができて、それが肯定できたことによって自由を感じたというふうに思います。Yes.
そうだと思うよ。
I think that's true.
星川君のことをみんながある種いじめるのは見下してるからではなくて、多分理解できない。それは周りと同じことをしないから。すごく象徴的なのが黒田さんの黒豆って言ってよってクラスメートに言われて思ってないから言えないよってはっきり言うんですけど、ああいう状況で主人公の麦野君も本当はやりたくないのに星川君の机の上にゴミを置いてしまう。それが多くの大半の人が取る行動だと思うんだけども、 星川君だけはそこから逃れられてる。そのことが批判の対象になってしまうっていう状況があるんだよね。だから見下してるのとちょっと違う。で湊君が星川君に感じる感情というのはもちろん、非常に複雑なものが含まれていると思うけれども、友情を超えたものもあるだろうと思うけれども、尊敬もあると思う。その思ったことは言えないのだとはっきり言えることに対する尊敬っていうものが最初にあるっていうのが僕はとてもいいなと思った。脚本を読んだ時に。
So it's true that Mugino likes Hoshikawa, but he knows that he's not supposed to like him. But in a way, there's so the thing about Hoshikawa is that he doesn't go by the rules. So he will do things like, for example, when they talk about the little mole, and he says, no, I don't think it looks like a dream, I'm not going to say it. So he refuses to play the games that the people are playing. And Hoshikawa, and so because of that, because he's different, because he doesn't play by the rules, they look down on him, and they can't understand him. But Mugino feels a kind of freedom in that. And he, for example, another example is when there's all that garbage on Hoshikawa's desk, he adds to it because he can't resist that. But at the same time, what he added, he doesn't feel good about it. So so he doesn't. It's this complicated situation in that sense. But he realizes that he does respect Hoshikawa in some ways.
That scene that you're talking about in the classroom where they put the garbage on Hoshikawa's desk, I thought it was a very important scene because there's something that one of the students says, and it says so much about the entire film, and it talks a lot about bullying, about how bullies react. Bullies expect their victims to react in a way that feeds the bully. They get off on antagonizing and upsetting their victims, but Hoshiwaka doesn't give them that. They said that he just cleans it up, and then one of the boys say, "Oh, aren't you going to react? Aren't you going to be upset?" And he's like, he doesn't even respond to that. And I thought it was very important because a lot of people don't understand that sometimes it takes so much courage and strength just to hold yourself back from reacting. And I thought it was very important. And I think Minato saw that, and he learned a lot from Hoshiwaka with regards to that.
やっぱりクラスルームでのシーンっていうのは非常に大事なシーンだと私も思いますと。でそこでいじめられるわけですけど、普通いじめられた子っていうのはそのいじめる対象の人たちに対していじめられた子らしい行動をするべきですが、実はその時に星川さんがそれをしないと、でむしろ平然と片付けたりすると、そうするといじめた方が物足りない感じをするわけですね。でもやっぱりその普通はいじめられたらこうするんですっていうことを抵抗する一つの勇気と力を持っていて、それを麦野さんがそれを見て、あ、すごいですねと感じたんだと思います。Yes, go ahead.
I'm so sorry. So my last question,
I'm sorry, you had a question, yeah.
No, he can respond and I'll give my last question because I just got the warning.
Go ahead.
So I mentioned for me the monster in the film is assumptions. It's the assumptions that the bullies have about Hoshikawa. It's the assumptions that Minato's mother has about the teacher, and even about the assumptions the teacher has for the principal. Everyone is assuming things about everyone, and everyone's perception is different. The truth is, they say there's three sides to every story. Your truth, my truth, and then the real truth. So I want to ask you, what's your real truth about this film, and what's the monster in this film to you?
モンスターというのは私が思うには、みんなが勝手に自分で考えてる、想定してることだと思います。それがモンスターだと思います。例えば警察にしてもお母さんにしても 先生のことをこう勝手にこういうふうに考えてると、でみんなの見る視線が違うわけですよね。考え方が違ったりしてて、でも先生監督にとって、今回は、何が本当のモンスターだと思いますか？
集団とか人の関係の中で、理解しようとする努力を諦めた瞬間に生まれるもの、それがおそらく至る所に起きている。学校と母の関係の中でも起きてるし、クラスの中でも起きてるし、映画の登場人物と観客の間でも起きている。そのことを観客が見ながら第3章子供のブロックに至った時に、観客が1章2章を見ていた自分が怪物なのだというふうに気づくということがとてもダイナミックなこう転換があって面白いなというふうに僕自身は捉えてましたけど。
So in my mind, I think that the monster is within the relationship. So these relationships happen, and then because of that, everybody thinks about this and this and this, and then they try to understand each other, but they don't really. And the monster is, in a sense, the gap, the lack of comprehension. And in a way, the audience is also participating in that, because when they see the first part, they can get a certain impression, and then the second part, they get another impression. And so I think that the monster really is that what is missing between.
Right, the disconnect between the characters.
こうキャラクターとかの間のこうちぐはぐな部分ですね。Yes.
Thank you so much.
ありがとう。
ありがとう。